It's great to be back with you once again on the India development debate right here on ET Now. I'm Supriya Shrinate and the stage is set for a big GST reboot of sorts, sending out clear signals of a further reduction in tax rates. Prime Minister Modi has said it is possible to cut GST on 99% of goods and services to less than 18%. The Prime Minister also asserts it is in everyone's interest to keep GST as simple as possible. The Prime Minister's statement comes in the backdrop of the tepid growth in indirect tax collections. Although it was almost 15 months after India switched to a uniform tax structure, GST collections topped 1 lakh crore rupees only twice, once in March and then in September this year to be precise. Also, by the Prime Minister's own admission, a lot of tweaking is needed to make it a foolproof system. No one disputes that GST India needs fewer tax slabs and easier compliance mechanisms, but the question is, will a rejig in tax slabs boost collections? And more importantly, will it make voters happy ahead of the 2019 mega elections? And could the rationalization be actually aimed at that? The much awaited GST reset is what we are debating right here on the India Development Debate in the second edition this evening. Joining us, Gopal Krishna Agarwal represents the BJP, Gaurav Vallabh is from the Congress Party, and Najib Shah is former CBEC chairman, and he joins us right here on the show. Thank you very much, each one of you, for being with us. And Mr. Shah, if I may begin with you, there is a lot of clamour, there is a lot of talk about some rate rationalization. But is rate rationalization the right thing to do when collections are still wobbly, or is this largely an electoral move, if I may?
Well, you would appreciate that I'd not like to speculate on the political aspect of it. But having said that, definitely rate rationalization should not just mean bringing down 28 to 18. It should also mean bringing up the 12 towards 18. Because if that were to happen, it could largely take care of revenue, because revenue definitely is a matter of concern, as you mentioned in your introductory remarks. Therefore, I really do not know which are the items which the government is contemplating bringing down, but we should seriously start looking at including also new items like the petroleum products, like land, which has always been in the agenda but never really got seriously discussed, if we wish to indeed rationalize GST.
Okay, let me take this across to the politicians and see what they make of this. And Mr. Gopal Agarwal, the question still remains that, you know, revenue from GST still has to stabilize. It has crossed the 1 lakh crore mark only twice in the 15 months that it has now been in execution. With the last rationalization that happened saw a revenue outgo of nearly 70,000 crore rupees. That was the revenue impact. Another revenue impact will be if there were further rates to be rationalized. Is there, you know, does it make economic sense to do so? And like Mr. Shah says, rate rationalization is not always about rates coming down. It is sometimes also about rates going up for a few slabs and a few things, and also inclusion of new items. That's a more holistic sort of an argument to make. Do you believe the government will have the political will, though, to do that? And, you know, or is rate rationalization the right thing to do even though revenues are under pressure?
No, actually, rate rationalization is the main objective that the Prime Minister has mentioned. At the same time, Mr. Arun Jaitley, Finance Minister, has said that already with the new GST structure in place, the average rate, which was around 28 to 31% earlier before the GST regime came into place, the rates are to the maximum items are being taxed at a 12 and 18% slab. There are some items which are at 28%. What the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister says that those items which are luxury items or which are called the sin items, other than those maximum day-to-day consumption items or which are being used by the common man, have to be brought within the 18% slab. And that is one thing that the government wants to do. And we have to also see how it is stabilizing. The revenue generation in itself and accumulation will go up with the number of organizations being registered getting increased day by day. We already have from 65 lakh units which were registered under indirect tax before GST, that has come to 1.2 crores. So, there is a higher compliance, there is more structured implementation of the whole audit trail of business transaction getting into the GST network. So, these issues are being tackled, and ultimately rationalization will itself help into more compliance from the people. So, these are I think this objective of increasing revenue with benefit of GST going to the common man is very important, and both objective will be
hang on for a second.
Of.
Okay, hang on for a second, and Gaurav Vallabh, I'll come to you. I'll just request you to keep your answers brief because there's very little time that I have for the show. Gaurav Vallabh, if the government wants to, and the government of the day believes that GST rates should come down, I think as citizens we want that to happen too. I will come to Mr. Gopal Agarwal on why did the Prime Minister have to talk about this, because this is the council related thing. But can you as an opposition now oppose rate rationalization, even though, from a revenue side, from a revenue point of view, it may not be the best thing to do right now. I mean, already the government's fisc is under the scanner, revenues are under pressure, GST hasn't stabilized. Despite rate rationalization, it's not as if the pickup has been great. So all that I'm asking you is that as an opposition, the conundrum is, can you oppose the move at all, even though it may be politically motivated?
Supriya, we are the first people who gave this idea, because how initially the rates were started, one nation 7 taxes, then they dropped 40% rate, then one nation 6 taxes, then they dropped one more rate, then one nation 5 taxes. From day one, Rahul Gandhi ji is mentioning that there should be one nation, one tax, and we from day one we were saying that what Mr. Arvind Subramaniam had pointed out, that the revenue neutral rate can be around 15 to 15.5%, and that we used to say that why can't we have a cap for 18%. So now what Modi ji used to tell us in 2017, that it is a grand stupid thought of Congress party, now he is doing the same thing. What we were advocating from 2015 onwards. So we are not against this. Still, if they are doing, we are happy that they had some sense before 100 days of the Lok Sabha elections. If they are doing something for the country, for the collection of the country, we are happy about that. Second point, I am asking, Prime Minister and Finance Minister used to give an argument that Mercedes and milk can't be in the same rate. Then Prime Minister used to say that BMW and Hawaii Chappal can't have. We are saying, why can't you have milk and Hawaii Chappal as 0% as an exempted item, and have 18% for BMW and Mercedes? So try to appreciate that ultimately they are doing what we were advocating from 2014 onwards, and we are happy about this.
Okay, you are happy about the fact that the government is talking on that front, but let me take this across to Najib Shah, who will really put it in perspective. And I think one of the things that is being looked at for rate rationalization, Mr. Shah, are the white goods. I'll take the political class questions on whether it was grand stupid or grand thought or whatever. But the quick, thing is, the political class wants to spur consumption, and perhaps rightly so. Consumption has taken a hit. Will white good rate rationalization help in doing so?
I suppose so. I suppose so. By rationalization, if you're talking of bringing down rates, it should spur consumption, and hopefully it should also mean better compliance on the part of all the assessee base, which has been a major issue really. Because though we have crossed the 1 crore plus mark in terms of registrants, the number of people paying taxes are very little. Evasion still is a matter of great concern, and all this needs to be comprehensively looked at, not just reducing rates, but ensuring that those reduced rates are paid by all who have to pay those taxes.
Okay. Gopal Agarwal, I'm going to really make it a little more political right now. The grand stupid thought, as it was being called, now seems to suggest to me right now that perhaps the Congress party was right to begin with all along. You started with 8 rates, look at how all of this is converging. Were you wrong in calling it stupid in the first place? Because you seem to be moving in a direction that the Congress was advocating for.
No, I just want to ask, if Congress was advocating every good thing under GST and every good thing in the country, in the economy, why didn't they implement it, everything? They had all the time in their basket to do it. They did not do it. They just were talking, and now they are advocating all these things. We always said that we will rationalize one tax, one market. rationalize it to 18 and 12%, but there is a roadmap to which we go. You go in a step-by-step manner, and now they are preempting everything and they are claiming that we told, they are doing, we had all the vision. If you had the vision, you could have done for what you were doing for 10 years of UPA rule. You should have implemented. It is that we have implemented. We also know that we have to rationalize. We want to bring it was our purpose to bring the indirect tax to a lower rate. We wanted to reduce taxation for the people. We wanted to reduce compliances. We wanted to establish audit trail for all the business transactions. We wanted to create one market, one tax. All these were objective and where we are moving. At one point of time they are saying that why you rushing through it, and now they are saying that why you didn't do it first, go all one tax only. So these are complication and complicated statements and political statement that the Congress is doing. They don't have to do, just they are preempting whatever good things the Modi ji is doing. They want to claim every good thing, just announcing that, and then they say that we don't we know that we have to rationalize to bring it to 1 or 2 taxes slabs. Don't we know that we have to reduce tax for indirect taxes from 28 to 18%? What is so greatness about Rahul Gandhi telling that bring it one tax, 18 tax? So these are laughable
The greatness is, Gopal,
they are making. We know where is the roadmap. We know where we are going. We will reduce number of taxes. We will reduce slabs. We will reduce indirect tax. We will increase the GST collection. We will bring more compliance. All these things we will. You see, under PSB 59, we have given interest subversion of 2%.
Okay, now I have to come in, Gopal. You can't go on and on. This is not a Rashtriyanam Sandesh that I am letting you do on GST here. Please hold on for a minute. And Gaurav Vallabh, while I know you and I are laughing, and I am not laughing because, you know, I find anything funny. I am laughing because there is one side of the political spectrum that keeps saying we are the original architects of the GST, but it is right. For 10 years, you did nothing. The other side of the political spectrum wants to take all the credit for rolling out a GST, but whether Gopal agrees with me or not, it was a faulty GST that was rolled out. Look at the glitches, look at the number of slabs we began with. We are now converging, which is why I'm laughing. But anyways, Gaurav Vallabh, to you, my point is that while I may agree with largely of what you say on the cap and all that, and I think the BJP misses that point when you say so, there is obviously a moral hazard in charging sin goods, luxury items at the same level at which we charge, you know, some of the daily essentials. Singapore could do it because Singapore charges the same thing for a footwear that it does for a luxury car. We can't do that in a country like ours. So you have to appreciate that there's a moral hazard in this.
Supriya, thanks. You reminded me of Singapore, because Jaitley ji used to say that we are not Singapore. We can't have the same rate for luxury good and essential item. Now, what happened in last 3 years? Had we become Singapore, that you are reducing, first of all, 40% rate was there. You had you cancelled that rate, and now 28%, 99% items you are taking back to the 18% ambit. So what happened in 3 years? First point. And second point, Supriya, I am just asking my gentleman friend from BJP that who was opposing GST for 10 years when the UPA was in power. It was the Narendra Modi ji who was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. He used to say GST is not at all good for country. Anyhow, later on he learned that it is good for the country. He implemented. We are happy about that. And third point, Supriya, justice is a very, very important and interesting issue. Modi ji talked about the cooperative federalism, that all Team India, all state chief ministers are part of Team India. Before the GST council meeting that is scheduled tomorrow, you are giving hints to the market that 99% of the goods we will take to the 18%. Who gave you right of this? Are you interested to kill one more constitutional body, that is GST Council, after killing CBI, ED, RBI, and now GST Council is your next target?
So
please leave at least few constitutional bodies. It takes a lot of time to take that.
One second.
Bhai Gopal, please listen.
Gaurav, where are you taking? Gaurav, okay, 1 second. Where are you taking this discussion? Why are you talking CBI and RBI? But you know, Gopal Agarwal, that is a question that you have to answer, and then I'll take a quick closing comment. 1 second, Gaurav Vallabh, you and I can't speak at the same time. And on this show, chances are that I will speak more than you, so give me a minute. But anyways, Gopal Agarwal, I have to ask you a question. Why did the Prime Minister have to say what he did? GST is it's the best example of cooperative federalism. You've got Amit Mitra from West Bengal hit out at the Prime Minister, and he says this erodes the decision making and the neutrality of the council and will be detrimental in the future. Why is the Prime Minister trying to take the moral high ground on this? You have a GST council, decisions have been taken by consensus. Officers like Mr. Shah have toiled very hard for those decisions to be taken. Why is the Prime Minister making this political? Answer that.
No, the Prime Minister said that we want to put this issue. Government can definitely put its agenda on the paper on the GST Council. Finance Minister will put what the Prime Minister intends, where it wants to take to the country under the GST regime. He can speak. He is not saying those states which are not agreeable, let them oppose it tomorrow. What is there? That final decision will be in the GST Council. Prime Minister has said what is the intention of the government, what is the agenda that the government would like to put it, and the Finance Minister will put it. What is the problem in that? And now when Rahul Gandhi speaks in the public platform that bring it to 18%, and when we do it, then he claims that they have done it because I have said it. That is cooperative federalism or opposition federalism with the government.
We are not in power, my dear friend.
The issue is very clear. Prime Minister said that we want to reduce that indirect tax. That is our objective, and we will do it. So that's thing the Prime Minister has said, only the intention of the government, nothing to undermine this GST Council or anybody.
Okay, I will take a quick last question to Najib Shah, and then I'm going to close this. And Mr. Shah, I think at the heart of this entire GST rationalization and tweaking really is what is happening to the MSMEs. And I don't want you to be absorbed and be pulled into the politics of this, but this constant rationalization, this constant tweaking, these constant changing of rules, you know, the big guys can adapt easily. It's the MSMEs that are at the receiving end, and which is why one wonders, A, is that true? And B, how long before we actually arrive at what should have been an ideal GST? What should, you know, from a rate point of view, from a compliance, from a returns point of view, how much longer before we actually get to that?
Well, I think we are reaching there. You see, the roadmap for converging to a single rate was always there. It's a question of timing. And like I mentioned earlier, it's also a question of not just bringing down rates, but also perhaps bringing up rates, because only then can you have these outliers of 5 and 28 and a medium rate of anything between 15.5% to 18%.
That's what, as we as citizens of this country, we want. We would like to reach to a perfect GST in no time. But thank you very much. Completely out of time here. Gaurav Vallabh, Gopal Agarwal and Najib Shah, thank you very much for sparing time and being with us. Tomorrow is the big exercise as far as the GST is concerned. We'll have to wait and watch what the council does. The council is supreme. The council is neutral. The council has upheld the tradition of cooperative federalism, and we should never do anything to mar that. It's important to keep that intact. Cooperative federalism, after all, is at the heart of a successful GST. Thanks very much for being with us. We take a quick breather. Up next is Top 10 at 10.